and welcome to my channel. For those of you new, my name is Dave and I work in financial services. And these videos are a mixing journey towards financial freedom, financial products, financial well-being, so you, like me, can reach your goals sometime in the future. Now let's get into this latest video. Now this video is not to boast or brag or say look at me, but it's to say, well, if I can build a sizable portfolio, you can too if you take the right steps, the right plans and get some kind of action in place, all within a tax-free wrapper. This is about my review for my ISA, my individual savings account for February 2024. Now the aim of the portfolio is an annual growth return of 10%. We're looking at the dividends during the year of £3,600, so let's just say £300 a month, and a year-end valuation of £113,000. So how have we done during the month? Well, we started off at £89,252. We ended the month in a very good position of £97,406, a profit in the month of £8,154, and year to date we've got a return of 1.18% between January and February. Slightly askew with because of contributions, we had some kind of windfall, so we look at the following chart. Contributions win the month of £6,522, so tax year to date over £14,000. Predominantly based in financial services, as we can see by the graphic. Now our provider charges monthly fees roughly about the same of £12.64, which is a percentage of our portfolio value. That will obviously increase as our portfolio increases. So where exactly is the portfolio held? Well, was predominantly UK based. We've been reducing that. We're now at 60% in UK and Europe, 26.6% in USA and Americas, and 13% in Asia and emerging markets. So let's dive into the portfolio and what sort of dividend we received during the month. Well, not a great month, but it will even out over the following months. AJ Bell, a platform provider, gave us £51.40, which we invested in new shares, and our Russia fund gave us the grand total of 55p. So we made £51.95 in the month. Way below our threshold, but in the month we had some great results. Dividends will obviously kick in April, May, when we'll be back on some kind of track. Our portfolio though is giving a yield across our shares of 5.95%. So let's look into the portfolio and see where our shares are held. Our shares makes up 46% of our portfolio, of which 38% is in the FTSE 100 and nearly 6% is in the FTSE 250. We own 10 shares, 6 in profit, 4 in loss, and the grand holdings is worth £44,276. Now they're all shares we're going to hold for the long term. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but they were done for a specific reason, and they're all shares I've done my own research with and happy to with, and I'll hold them for the next 3 to 5 years. Now our largest shareholding, shall we say, is in Legal & General, the insurance company. We just switch up. 3,957 shares, £9,500, makes up nearly 10% of our portfolio, giving a very nice yield of around about 8%, and hopefully next few days at the start of March it will give great results and dividends will be increased. But we can just switch off. Everyone needs insurance, but it's heavily invested, shall we say, in the pensions sector in the UK and investments and general, shall we say, insurance products. Our next holding is Lloyds Banking Group, 19,189 shares, nearly 9% of our portfolio, £9,000. Very good results in the month. It's got a yield of 6.8%, and the final dividend was increased from 1.6p a share to 1.84p a share. Okay, so very good results as interest rates have gone up, margins have been increased. Back onto the insurance company, we own Aviva. 1,774 shares, £8,000, 8% of our portfolio, and just like LNG, we'll have very good results, hopefully very cash rich at the start of March, and again giving it the yield around about 8%. Away from the banking sector, we own Card Factory, 3,738 shares, £3,500, 3.5%. Very cash rich, under banking covenant, shall we say, from the COVID scenario, but it is, shall we say, reduced its debts, but it cannot pay dividends. But it is making good profits. It is expanding on the high street and online presence, but what we consider be a growth company. Back on the banking sector, we own HSBC, 495 shares, £3,000, 3% of our portfolio, but a very nice yield of 8.5%. It is paying quarterly dividends again, and it will pay a special dividend this year as a result of selling some operations within Canada. It is streamlining, but again, a very cash-rich dividend. We own Barclays, the bank, 1,588 shares, £2,600, 2.5% of our portfolio, and again, very good results during the month, 5.5% yield. Dividend last year, final dividend was 4.53. It was increased to 5.3p during the period. Our next holding is NatWest, 957 shares, £2,300, 2.3% of our portfolio, and again, very good results during the month. Is struggling, shall we say, about getting a new success. They're going to run within. Who knows what will happen when the government sell off later this year? The great unknown, because it's still owned 38%, but it's given a yield of 8.4%. Annual dividend last year was 10 pence. Annual dividend this year is 11.5p. So again, like the banking sector, some very good results and some very nice dividends increased. Away from the banks, we own Sainsbury's, the retailer, 881 shares, £2,200, 2.6%. Has struggled during a good run after Christmas, but as the recent results show, or trading statements show, market shares may increase because it's doing going to price match against other supermarkets. But it is streamlining the business, it is cash rich, and the dividends was increased at the last results at the end of December. We own AJ Bell, the platform provider, 629 shares, £2,200, 2.2% of our portfolio. What we consider a growth company, but it did give us a dividend, let's just say, as we said earlier, £50 in a month. And then finally, Phoenix Group, the insurance or the pension provider, 421 shares, £2,000, 2% of our portfolio. We are in profit. It was our latest purchase. We were up about 10%, now up about 5%, but it is paying a very nice dividend of 9 to 10% as a yield. And hopefully when results come out soon, the dividend will be maintained or will be increased. As we've said, a very good month, so we say, because of the results from the banking sector. And hopefully that will carry on in March when we get the results, shall we say, from L&G, Aviva, Phoenix Group, to name a few. Remember, these are my own personal opinions. If you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Now let's get into the funds held within the portfolio. Now again, the funds are what we call long-term holds. We are going to, shall we say, simplify them, or we were going to simplify when certain funds are back into profit, but certain sectors have struggled lately, which I'll go through in a minute. At the moment, we did own 8. We increased that to 10 during the month, but the specific reason. 5 in profit, 5 in loss, so 10 funds. It makes up 54% of our portfolio. We have been increasing funds lately, but the total fund value is £53,000. Our largest holding, as per the graphic, is a passive adventures fund. We can just switch off. Nearly £22,000, 22% of our portfolio, covers numerous sectors, very low fees. Our next holding is Legal and General Technology Fund, nearly £12,000. Owned a collection of shares and, shall we say, technology being very good during the past months. Very good 2023 after the poor 2022, but it makes up 12% of our portfolio. Our next holding, one we've been increasing lately, is the Fidelity World Index. £6,300, 6.5% of our portfolio. Owns a collection of shares across the world. We can just switch off. It does pay a very small yield, but it has got very low fees of 0.12%. And then some funds that have struggled. A Fidelity China Fund, £2,500, 2% of our portfolio. We've got a mid-cap fund, £700, 1% of our portfolio, which has struggled because of what's happened in the UK across, shall we say, smaller companies, somewhat unloved. And then 2 emerging market funds. One of £700 makes up 1.8% of our portfolio. One of £1,200 makes up 1.2% of our portfolio, which have struggled during the past few months. They have had a great results, shall we say, during 2023, but they're still showing a small loss. We own a Russia fund. We put £500 in went up to £600 in profit. Obviously been affected by the Ukraine conflict since, and it's hovered around about £250 ever since. But thankfully it makes up 0.26% of the portfolio, and it did pay a tiny dividend during the last month. Now we've got some kind of windfall, but we've earmarked that. So what we've done this month is we've created 2 new funds. We wanted to keep it separate from existing holdings. So we put £3,000 in an S&P 500 fund, so 3% of our portfolio, and we put £3,000 in a HSBC all share index fund. So again, £3,000. Now we would have normally topped up our existing funds, let's just say the Fidelity World Index or a passive fund, but we've done it because we're going to keep it separate for a specific purpose within the next few months. But we've done it. I'd rather keep it invested on a short term and make some money than keep it in some kind of cash account where it's probably being eaten away by inflation. So a collection of shares. So we say we were trying to simplify it till this month for a specific reason. But apart from our emerging markets and our China funds, the funds have done very well. We can just switch off. Again, like our holdings, long-term buys, long-term reasons. But it was done for my own personal objectives. So after a poor January, we've had a very good month in February, and we're actually beating the index year to date. But remember, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's to make 10% year on year. And we've not had the greatest month of dividends, but we've had some great results during the month. So the dividends will kick off, shall we say, later in the year over the next few months. And it will all be reinvested within the portfolio. Remember, if you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you again in the next video. But more importantly, if I can build a portfolio of 6 figures, you can too if you take the steps, the actions, and create a plan, all within a tax-free investment wrapper.